Hello everyone, welcome back to Almighty Blues FC. Well, a fan channel for all to see. It is basically a huge derby win that we got, right? So that is the reason where we had to come and discuss with you all what we really feel about it, the real Chelsea fans. And today, unlike the recent episodes, I don't have a rival fan on, and it's just the Chelsea fans. We thought of talking about Chelsea mainly, but of course other clubs as well. Just a rival watch from our point of view. I hope you all will like it. If you do, please smash that like button. We need more people on the stream so that we can have great discussion along. And of course, press that bell notification icon because we are doing a lot of live streams. And I have to definitely give a mention to Jimmy Greaves, a legend not only for Chelsea, not only for Spurs, but football in general. We lost Jimmy Greaves yesterday, and I don't know, it was a fitting tribute for Chelsea to beat Tottenham, or rather Chelsea and Tottenham to play at Spurs when Jimmy Greaves is sadly gone, right? But again, rest in peace and condolences to his family. I hope people will really inspire from Jimmy Greaves and what he's achieved for Chelsea and for Tottenham and for England as well, right? And that's something that we can always look up to. But having said that, of course, we have a few people already in the chat. So let me pick up a few people. Certainly, we have Chelsea Perspective. Thank you for joining. And of course, Drogba channel represent. Yes, Drogba is definitely coming on. And of course, Just Viola always here to support, as well as Talk Chelsea and Dieter as well. Thank you for joining. And we definitely have, Dennis Couch Critic along Dog Baba. Sorry about that. But yes, like I say that, let me introduce you, Shashwat, as he is called, Dog Baba. Shashwat, welcome to the stream. How are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. So again, Drog Baba, every stream, I'm sure people ask you about the name, etc. And I've heard you many times. I'm sure people in the chat must have heard. Great channel that you have, right? But I have to share something. As in, my niece is a huge fan of your name, and Almighty Blues FC. We had recently rebranded, as you know as well. So actually the inspiration was your name, that hey, this is something that is really catchy and something that really means to you, which is something that I would really commend you for that. Hats off to you for that, right? But having said that, I think you were actually out for a screening yesterday for the game. So how was that experience and where was that, if you can share?
It was absolutely amazing. It was in a pub in my hometown, Jaipur. I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan, as many of you know. So it was a great feeling. After a long, long time, we were able to get together because of the lockdown and the whole COVID situation. It was not possible for us from a very long time to, get together and enjoy those matches. But it was absolutely an amazing experience. I hope that more people could have joined us, but unfortunately, we were quite limited in numbers. But nonetheless, it was an amazing experience. And when Thiago Silva scored, I'm sure Dennis and his names, oh, Thiago Silva, it was all, it was a euphoric feeling. And same when Kant and Rudiger scored. The atmosphere was absolutely amazing. We were around like 20-25 people, but it did not matter. It felt like we were in a stadium. So the atmosphere was absolutely electric. And more importantly, we got the 3 points, much needed 3 points against Spurs. Although we have a very good record against Spurs at White Hart Lane, or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now, as it is called. So, yeah, all in all, it was a really good experience and looking forward to more games now.
Yes, and certainly we'll address the questions in the chat as well. Talking about Thiago Silva, right? We see comments in the chat, and I think Baba also mentioned. Let us welcome Dennis back to Almighty Blues FC. Dennis, Thiago Silva, come on, you are ready for it, right?
Oh, you're talking to me. I heard you say Dennis for a minute, then I was like, what? No, who's that guy? Big win, fellas, man. How you doing?
Fantastic. And, of course, again, people in the chat and regular watchers must have watched Dennis crack, or rather really, pump the trivia series that we have. That is Who Am I? And he did really well, top of the chart right now. So Dennis, fresh from a derby win with Thiago Silva, I'm sure that, requires you to sing, right? As in you can be the cheerleader and we'll follow.
Thiago Silva. I've been singing this for I can't tell you how many times I sang this already today. It's crazy. I put it on my chat. I put it on my my little video vlog or whatever as well. It's just it's just so it was just such a memorable performance from him. It's like one I'm going to remember for a long time. And like I
For
said,
sure.
it wasn't so much that he scored, which was just the icing on the cake. It was his play in his own end defensively in the first half that was really like just so phenomenal for me. And then it was just like capped off by him just like getting the winner and then almost scoring again. So yeah, it's it's been a heck of a couple days. Long may continue. Like just the winning under Thomas Tuchel, we look like a real complete side, a team that's like really. Yeah, I already know, Max. I'm not looking forward to it. Believe me, I'm not looking forward to it. But yeah, we
Yes.
look like a real complete side, and it just one of the things that I am noticing that's actually really important is we're not we're not being exposed. Like some of our like deficiencies aren't being exposed in the setup that we have with Thomas Tuchel right now. So that's a fantastic thing to see. He set up a team so well that we're basically compensating for our little mishaps and holes in the squad. So hats off to him. He's a fantastic manager.
Yes, absolutely. Like, touch wood, like he stays forever. But again, lots to talk about, guys. And of course, like, 14 of you in the chat. Hopefully, you smash the likes, get more people. We'll discuss a lot. So let's get into it, guys. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly share my screen and let's first discuss, what the starting lineup was and whether it surprised us or not. For me, it was certainly, a couple of surprises for sure. I'll start with Shashwat. So Shashwat, this is what I think we started with. I know previously in the midweek we had the Champions League game, but still, like, did it surprise you that Aspilicueta started in the wing back position? We kind of anticipated that on the preview show, but how about you? Him as well as the defense that you see.
Yeah, I am more surprised by Werner not getting a run in alongside Lukaku. I'm most surprised by that because when we signed Lukaku, I was very excited for that Werner Lukaku partnership. I have said it a lot on my previous shows as well, that when Werner played in Leipzig, he played alongside a physical striker like a Yusuf Poulsen. So we have now a beast up front. Lukaku is an absolute monster of a forward, and I was absolutely delighted when we got him. And I really wanted to see how Werner could work alongside Lukaku, but it made sense that Havertz started because we know how Nuno plays. He has that low block. But when the first half started, we saw that Spurs were committing forward a lot of times and they were leaving their backline quite exposed. We also hit them a couple of times on the counter, but unfortunately, we were not able to take those chances. Yeah, and coming back to your right back, I was not that surprised because I knew that Thomas Tuchel likes to go with experience in such
Yeah.
games, in big games. And he will definitely start in the Man City game. We won't be. I won't be
Interesting.
surprised if we see the 10 players out of 11 that played the Champions League final, or 9 out of 11. Alonso is,
Yeah, as in,
is an absolute high. I don't see Chilwell coming into the team for that Man City game. But apart from that, I don't see any more changes. But yeah, I think whatever playing 11 that Thomas Tuchel put up on the pitch, it worked like a charm.
yes, a fair point. Of course, like like you said, as in coming to the Man City game a week from now. So that is something that I'm sure, like Man City are not going to play a Mendy again and Reece James. Will not come in for that. But yeah, then that's their left back who's not a left back. But coming to Spurs, right? As in, like you said, definitely, Spurs had a great first half in general, right? So I think for as in Spurs. Son, I think, wasn't really expected to start. He was, touted to be injured, and same was the case, I think, if I'm not wrong, with Eric Dyer, and of course, we had, I think, Lo Celso as well as Romero coming back from quarantine, so they weren't match fit, but still they gave that, high energy kind of pressing game in the first half. So I'll come to you, Dennis. In terms of Chelsea's midfield versus Spurs midfield, right? I'll just stop sharing the screen, but of course, for us, it was like Spurs, definitely, crowding their midfield. That was one of the approach where they won a lot of balls. But Mason Mount, someone who's really known to win a lot of balls, was rather kind of giving the ball away. Again, a lot of talk on Twitter. Twitter, like I said before streaming, is a crazy place. Like, really, I have to say. But I think there was a lot of talk, too much talk about Mason Mount. So I know it's now 3 consecutive games that Mason Mount has lost the ball a lot of times, as well as not created enough. So Dennis, do you see Mason Mount as in being the young person he is just a small blip, or you see something that needs to be worked upon in training specifically?
I mean, that's a tough question. For me, it's not so much about. It's just consistency we're after right now. This guy's a young boy, right? And he's given us such high-level performances in so many different matches that we expect that level game in, game out. And, nobody's taken into account that he's like 22 years old, Like, he hasn't even come close to hitting his prime yet. So I just think that we have to just relax on the whole Mason Mount this, Mason Mount that, on both sides. Like, I'm not really one to, like, overhype him either. Like, I've seen people calling him generational talent and stuff like that. I'm just like, yo, man, just cool, man. Just let the guy mature at his own pace. It's fine. We're winning games. We don't look exposed. I think that the reason why he was pulled off is because tactically he wasn't fulfilling what Thomas Tuchel wanted. And if you listen to his post match, what he said very clearly was he didn't change the tactics at the halftime. It was the exact same tactics that were being employed. He just didn't see the same sort of endeavor. He wouldn't see the same sort of like effort winning second balls and whatnot. And that was the reason why he made that tactical switch. And, like it was all the difference. Like, because what I saw in the first half that was very evident to me was this Chelsea was very expansive. Like their system, which is usually very compact and tight, was wide open. And like, I realized that they had to do that just to open up gaps of space in order to play through. But with the way Tottenham were pressing and whatnot, and Højbjerg in particular, just like sweeping and cleaning everything in behind, it made it very hard for us to play football. And it just was so evident that either we needed to have Mason Mount sit in that midfield and make a flat midfield 3, or bring on N'Golo Kante. And he chose to do the latter, and it worked to perfection.
Yes, well said there. Because as in the moment N'Golo Kante was brought again, like a lot of calls for N'Golo Kante being brought on. I think at halftime, a lot of us again message on social media, and that was again on paper a 3-5-2. But like you said, they didn't really change the tactics in terms of the play. And N'Golo Kante is someone who kind of presses really high and the best in the world, I would say, like among the best for sure, at least, right? But I think looking at Kante, Kovacic, and Jorginho playing, like, I don't know, I'm sure like people in the chat also must be remembering, but I think Sarri had those days when he was actually heavily criticized when he played all the 3 together. So talk about management. It's just about getting them to work together, and that is the key, right? And again, as in people always react, but that's something that is part and parcel of the game. Having said that, right? So I don't know, like in terms of future games, I don't know, Shashwat, do you see us actually playing a 3-5-2, not 3-5-2 per se, but playing these 3 midfielders together? Because the second half, I think Dieter has already, highlighted in the chat, like we played them out of the park. So that was a performance that cannot be, just looked down upon or just, ignored. We really need to see what benefit we can get from that formation. Do you think, Shashwat, this is something that Tuchel will play much more?
See, I think we are reading too much into it. The only thing which Tuchel said in his press conference after the match was that we were missing a lot of clear opportunities to play simple passes, and we were very sloppy. We lacked that energy. So what he did was he just brought some energy and impetus into that midfield, which was missing behind the striker. And that was what N'Golo Kante brings to the table. and he did not really change the system. He just changed the personnel, and he knows how to get the best out of every player, and that is what makes Tuchel one of the best managers, if not the best manager right now in the world. And he knows how to extract that every ounce of talent that each and every player of a team has. So he knows what all traits Kante has. But yeah, Mason Mount, I think he has been overused. Even if you see in the international break too, he was being overused heavily by Gareth Southgate. And a very interesting point made by Luffy in the comment section, that many of the English players have not been same since the Euro. We have seen that
Absolutely.
Chilwell has been not even considered for a start, and he was just brought on as a late substitute against Zenit in the Champions League. So we have yet to see a lot of Chilwell in this season. But again, coming back to that question, I think Mount is the guy. I mean, he is indispensable when this Chelsea teams comes to the mind, and I think he is the mainstay in that front three. You cannot replace him right now. Give him too much stick after a couple of bad performances. I won't say yesterday, okay, his performance were questionable, but before that, I think he was half decent against Villa. Also, I think he did not have his best of games in a Chelsea shirt, but I think we are reading too much into it. Let's give him a couple of more games and then decide what to do. And we have so much luxury on the bench. We have Ziyech, we have Pulisic, who is still, has to come into the team. He's been out unfit. Then Werner has not been given a chance properly since Lukaku has come in, as I said earlier also. So we have a lot of options, so nothing to worry about. But I don't see this happening a lot. Kovacic, Kante, and Jorginho playing in this system, all of them three together.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree with that, just because I don't know if we have the cover in midfield to see that happen anyways. I think it's just like gonna be horses for courses, we can ride Mason Mount as long as you want, but like truly, he's not a number 10 to me. He's a number 8, and the reason why he's so effective in that midfield for us right now is because he can't get forward like a number 10, but his actual mentality, and I think that this is a big thing. Like, I always think that you can play somebody in a certain position, but they're always going to react to the game according to their type. Mason Mount is a number 8. He's going to play the game like a number 8. You know what I mean? So if you play, Pulisic as a striker, he's going to react as a winger. You know what I mean? Because the game is about like your muscle memory. It's about like your reactions. And if you're trusting your natural reactions, you're always going to play according to your type. So yeah, Mason Mount, he's an 8 to me, which is why he's so important in that side, because he gives us so much in the midfield as well as going forward. Granted, we still need to see some more end product. That's what probably the big knock is for him right now. We need to finish some of these opportunities that he's getting, and that will come in time as well, like I said before. But ultimately, I just think that if we're playing the shape, it's always going to be horses for courses. We have to figure out what game it calls for and deploy it then. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with our base 3-4-3 right now. Like, guys, we're still undefeated in that shape as well.
Everything we won the championship
as well. And one point to add to that, we are forgetting that Mason Mount was a player of the season last season. I mean, he was the best player. And it is football is game about moments. Okay, there was one chance when Mount served his shot, and he was not able to get that proper contact. If that ball had ended in the back of the net, we won't be having this conversation. We would be like, okay, he was sloppy on a couple of occasions, but he got the important goal. So it's all about that. He was involved in the earlier stages of the first half. I agree that he was sloppy with his passing, not only Mount, but Havertz too. I was not happy with Havertz's performance also last night. The way he was playing, all of us were calling for Ziyech, bring Ziyech on. We need someone to make those driving runs. But again, we know what Havertz has done so far. He has been absolutely sublime. I think last season when he started alongside Pulisic in that Fulham game, when he scored, I think, a couple of goals he scored in that Fulham
that was some wow goal, right? I remember.
Yes. Since then, he has been quite magnificent so far, and he got that goal in the Champions League final too, and which has shot up his confidence to another level. You can see him more expressing himself more on the pitch. He was absolutely amazing in the game against Liverpool. He was brilliant in the game against Arsenal. So yeah, one performance which was
just one off.
Yes, let's not judge. Correct. We are on the top of the table. Yeah, let's be happy.
Well, absolutely. And you know what? The fact that you talk about Havertz, like I'll probably put a question to chat, right? As in, yes, Havertz has been top notch in terms of his touches, in terms of, the delicate turns that he also does like Mount, right? But again, because of the fact that some days he's having off, so that's the day when probably Tuchel will probably play three in midfield, or rather three midfielders, so as to speak, and maybe like you said earlier, like get Werner on. So I don't know, guys in the chat. Would you like to see more of Werner, especially in, say, Champions League and Cup games, where he's someone who can really, create that space? And because Mount is seeming a little bit tired, probably that's the best excuse for us to use Werner until at least Pulisic, is 100% fit, right? And that's something that I would really like to see. But yeah, as in over to Thiago Silva. As in, come on, Dennis. It is. I would say not just Thiago Silva. To be very honest, of course, that was a legendary performance in itself. Some second half performance, that right, especially in second half, like he won balls for fun, headers for fun. Leave apart the goal, of course, he scored the brilliant header. But I think Alonso, who gave him the assist, was also, I think, a top-notch player in the second half, because he was, as in, playing 1-2s for fun, like it's five-a-side football. Like, come on, just the platform is yours, Dennis. Please talk about Thiago Silva and Alonso. What is the positive that they brought to this game?
Okay, before we get into that, I did want to comment on the 5-3-2 that we saw in the second half and whether or not we could do that going forward. Like I said, it is something that we could utilize in certain matches, but I also think that it's imperative that Conte is fit for that particular for that to ever work. Like if you want to see Werner and Lukaku up front, because it's going to be so much work off the ball, and you need somebody that's industrious like N'Golo Kante to make up some of the gaps that we're going to be seeing up here. So as much as I want to see it, I want to make sure that Kante is 100% fit before we actually deploy that. And it's probably why we only saw it for 45 minutes. But on to, the man of the match. Let's be honest. Man of the match, Thiago Silva. My goodness, man. Rolling back the clock. Well, not even rolling back the clock, because like this guy is just world class. What I was saying on my stream was that it doesn't matter when you started or when you like from day one to now. Thiago Silva has proven his world class status. You know what I mean? Like his class is permanent, man. And at 37, you wouldn't even know it because he's just so fantastic. And he's only getting better with age. It seems like the guy's reading the game phenomenally well. Like everything that was happening in the first half, Tottenham were in the ascendancy. They had control of the football. They were pressing us off the pitch. There were all sorts of things that, like, particularly in the first 25 minutes, that were giving us all sorts of trouble. And they were probably 1 to 2 moves away from scoring a goal, but for Thiago Silva. Like, until the point where Thiago Silva intervened and said, no, this ain't happening. This is not happening.
He made that crucial block against Ollie Watkins also in that Aston Villa game.
Yes. Wow.
And it's his birthday.
All over the place, man.
It's his birthday also. The day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if you guys saw, like, actually, again, like, players obviously respect each other, but John Terry doesn't do this for everyone. He's actually, posted on Instagram saying that he would wish he would play next to Thiago Silva. Like, that is some kind of respect. Like, you actually he means it when John Terry says something, like you believe it, right? As in simply put. But world class for sure. And I think he, like you said, like he's fit as a fiddle. Like in terms of whenever he plays, I don't think you can see that age in him. That's not something that you would even think that he's 36 or turning 37. Like perfect.
I will say this though. I think the system helps him as well, because the three at the back that requires less. I wouldn't say less running, because he still has to move around, especially because we play the high line. But it requires. It helps him out a bit, because he doesn't have to, like, if he was playing in a 2, like he'd have to be dialed in 100% of the time. Now what he has to do in that more like a sweeper role is just clean up for Azpilicueta, clean up for Rudiger, and just basically be an aerial presence. And I think it suits his game perfectly. At this point in time, he reads the game so perfectly. He understands where danger comes and just snuffs it out. So yeah, he's probably the perfect center back that you can have in that midfield 3, or that center back 3. And and he's now just ushering in the next era. He's now deputizing for Christensen, who also looks fantastic. Like let's be honest. Since we went to 3 at the back, Christensen has like been a revelation. And I know that he's learning a lot under Tuchel. He's learning a lot on Thiago Silva, but he's just maturing. He's becoming a real footballer now, somebody that we can depend on game in, game out. Like, I know a lot of people during the Champions League final were like, biting their nails and stuff like that at the thought that Thiago Silva was being subbed out. And I was completely calm and collected because I knew that Christensen has the composure and the ability to
I think
Christensen's
case was more to do with confidence. He was never the
Yes.
same player after that goal that he conceded against Barcelona.
Barca, yeah, exactly.
Yes, so that dented his confidence, but now he's coming back to his own. And to add to Thiago Silva's point, we always talk about this amazing work ethic that Cristiano Ronaldo has, right? He is also like 36, 37 years old. He eats clean, he trains hard. Thiago Silva also does the same, which is not talked about enough. He's an athlete, he's a specimen too. And if you talk about Thiago Silva off the field, he's a family man. He does not go out. He is very disciplined when it comes to training and his dieting. So he is the Cristiano Ronaldo of defenders, but he has gone so under the radar, so underrated he has been throughout. Maybe overshadowed by some of the better defenders, or maybe some defenders that we have. I mean, we have glamorized some defenders. This is
I think Ramos is an example, right? Exactly.
Yes,
that's for one. As in, great conversation, guys. But yeah, as in talking about the game again, moving from Thiago Silva's performance, which is something of a class apart. But I think N'Golo Kante, like, of course, one mention quickly to Kovacic. Again, I am a Kovacic stan. People on the channel know it. But he won the ball for N'Golo Kante, and N'Golo Kante deservedly, got a goal. He really got us back in the game. Just the team get that extra confidence with Kante being there. But I think he has a tendency to score against the big sides. I don't know, something about him, right? As in, I know it was a reflected shot and all that, but at the end of the day, as in, I don't know, chat, like, if you remember, I remember all the goals that Kante scored has been against big sides. I remember that wonder goal that he scored, I think, against Liverpool in a loss, which was a crazy goal. And again, yesterday, one against ManUtd that he scored, obviously another wonder goal under Conte. So this guy actually has it in him. Like, who knows? Like, we'll probably get Kante scoring a lot of goals in the future, as in if he, plays that role further on. Like, I hope so. But again, moving on, I think Werner, he had a few bright moments. I would not like to slate him because at the end of the day, he got that assist as well, and it was actually a clever assist. It was probably he move the ball back. So that is something that you naturally don't do. So he probably thought about is what I would like to give the benefit of doubt. And he could have probably scored as well, but you can probably see that Lukaku and Werner are working off the pitch, and hopefully he'll get something. But talk about Rudiger, like Rudiger is another person. I know he got the goal, but again, like Thiago Silva, someone who is a leader on the pitch, off the pitch as well, probably I'm assuming. But I don't know, you guys, maybe Shashwat, you can probably tell me, like, what do you think about Rudiger's contract situation? What is your gut telling? Like, Rudiger will sign, right?
Yeah, I want him to sign, but there hasn't been much encouraging news as far as Chelsea fans are concerned. So I hope that contract does get signed really quickly, even if it means that we have to make him one of our highest paid players, because he has been an absolute beast. He is a leader on and off the pitch. You can see him standing up for his teammates. Especially that Atletico Madrid game when he was untouchable. He was absolutely bullying those forwards. And I mean, you need those personalities, right? Because this is a young team, and players need some senior players and some characters in the dressing room to look up to. And Rudiger is one of them. And he has been an absolute beast since Thomas Tuchel has taken over. And he was a very talented defender when we signed him. We saw that in the FA Cup final too when we won. That he was impervious. He is absolutely world class when it comes to defending in a back three. And the only thing that annoys me about Rudiger is his customary run and shot that he doesn't.
Come on, he's a left winger after all, right? He thinks he's a left winger. That's something that he has it in him. But yeah,
if he does that after we are like 3-4 up in the game, then I have no problem. But sometimes he gets carried away. But jokes apart, I mean, we need him to stay long term at Chelsea, because I don't know what the future holds, because we are after Jules Koundé. We'll definitely get Jules Koundé in January or maybe in summer, he will definitely come to Chelsea. Thiago Silva, I think it's his last season. I hope that he stays for another
Ageless,
season.
ageless,
Yeah,
I hope
that's my
yeah.
question.
ageless.
Come on, he's ageless. He's ageless. For me, he's
Yeah.
definitely ageless. But as in talking about quickly about Rudiger, Dennis, come on, Rudiger. I don't think there exists parity in today's day and age, right? I don't think parity is really a thing. Come on, everyone knows each other's salary. I understand in these teams, but they're all earning lots. Like, come on, in terms of Chelsea wages, I know it's not anything compared to
Oh, I
Barcelona and
mean,
Real Madrid, but you have
yeah,
to give
well,
them, right?
okay. Let's get things straight first. In La Liga, their players are taxed heavily, right? Like it's something like 50%. So when you're seeing wages of €1 million or something like that, that's not take. They always are negotiate to what their take home money is going to be. They're not going to be like, oh, give me 250 million, 250,000 euros, and then walk home with 120. So when you see those high wages, it's because they are basically trying to say, this is what I want to walk home with. My net should be at this number. So that's one thing. But having said that, like good center backs are hard to come by in world football right now. Just especially ones that fit in your system perfectly, and have already acclimatized with your club, understand what your club's about, love your like these are things that are just irreplaceable. And if you're not going to resign Rudiger, like I'm sure he will. I feel like he will. I just feel like he's making a sweat for every
Yeah.
dollar. And but like if you're not going to resign Rudiger, like I don't care who comes in, you're losing something. You're losing a big piece of this club right now. And like I was looking at the numbers the other day, and I'm hoping they're not accurate, but like it looked like it was coming from a pretty reliable salary structure thing because it looked accurate to me for some of the names that I knew. And I saw like Rudiger's making about 100K a week, and Malang Sarr is making 120,
Wow,
120K a week. I
that
was like,
can't be real.
this guy cannot get into the squad, and you're telling me that your indispensable left-sided center back is getting less than him? Like,
Yeah, there's a
it's a
correction needed
no-brainer.
for sure.
It's a no-brainer. Give him the money. Just give him the money. Like you've already set the precedence by giving Malang Sarr 120K. Just give him what he wants now. He's I think Chilwell's on like 180K. He can't get into the side right now. Like
Yeah, I
for me
think
right now, if you look at the hierarchy of the club, it's N'Golo Kante, Lukaku. Uh, who else will probably be in there? I'm probably forgetting somebody. But Rudiger is probably in the,
Hudson-Odoi.
Rudiger is probably in there somewhere. Like in terms of the most important, indispensable players in the squad. You'd have to think that it's N'Golo Kante, Lukaku, and I don't know, maybe Rudiger is third. I don't know,
Yeah, that's the whole
maybe
point
fourth.
because no, I think Dennis, the reason is because again, I mentioned Hudson-Odoi because of the reason these are players who are probably having offers elsewhere, and that's when Chelsea went with bigger contract. But that means that we also to kind of make a correction elsewhere. Like there has to be parity the other way around as well. So I totally agree
Club
with you.
can't be
Like there
held
has
ransom, man.
yeah,
Club cannot
absolutely.
be held
And
ransom.
I think Kepa is also an example. Like talking about Kepa, I don't know. Again, people in the chat, Kepa kept a clean sheet, so kudos to him, and he did well. He actually did well against Son. I think a couple of balls that he and Alonso together kind of somehow managed to keep that off. But we've conceded I think one goal this season as of now in 5 games. So
And it was a
Chad, I
penalty.
don't know. Yeah, exactly. And Chad, I think we are going for the record. Come on, that 15 goals, 2005. It's going to happen again. I don't want to jinx it, but do you guys see that happening realistically? Tuchel has the system, and we have the players at least this season. So I don't know. You guys tell that it's going to happen or not. And of course, I have a poll put up as well. So hopefully, you guys have taken a poll. And talking about that, I think we're talking too much about Chelsea. So that gives me all the more reason to
Too much
move
about
on.
Chelsea. What? What is
You know
this?
what?
What did I just hear?
Because
What did I
no,
just
because,
hear?
absolutely. Because the thing is, day in day out, if we talk only about Chelsea, it's about us actually really praising them when we do well, and that is what should stand out, right? So for me, we need to talk about others because of the fact that we really feel where we are standing, right? So let's move to the next section if you don't mind.
Sure.
Perfect.
Oh, Thiago Silva.
Okay, again, a lot of games that happened, but as I say that, we have also Chief Chelsea joining. Big up to Chief Chelsea, and of course, a lot of others. I haven't been able to address every question, but hopefully, we will address. Come there's time at the end of the stream. But thanks again for joining. Anyone who's new, please take a look at the description. The YouTube channel links of both Dennis, that is Couch Critic, as well as Dog Baba are there. Definitely subscribe to them, and of course give Almighty Blues FC a like as well, and a subscribe if you haven't. Talking about the games, right? I'll start with Shashwat. Baba, come on, that City game, it clearly showed the standard of referees that are there in England today, right? As in, I know that they see the image and then kind of decide, and they, on their basis, they say that, okay, we are seeing something and then deciding and telling it. But the fact about VAR was that you got to overturn only when you are 100% sure, and that is what the definition of VAR was to begin with. And that Kyle Walker, dodgy penalty, no penalty, red card, like, come on, if Reece James gets a penalty and a red card, and that is not overturned. I know it wasn't the same episode, but in terms of Kyle Walker, how can you decide by a still image? Like, the guy is actually going with the momentum. Easily his hip could have, turned him down. What do you think? It was a penalty, a red card, like, for sure, right?
I think it's a point of perspective. I would, give an example of the Reece James incident. So, like in Reece James incident, we also debated if it's a penalty or not. So some people said that it is a penalty, but it should have been a yellow card, not a red card. But the rule states that if you are stopping a clear goal scoring opportunity, and if it hits your hand, the intention does not matter. So it's a clear red. So the rules are quite clear in that. So you are hard done by, obviously, because you are a Chelsea fan. But in this case also, I think it's more down to the consistency. I think the referees are very inconsistent, and we have to draw a line as where to, I mean, we have to make it very clear. I mean, the laws need to be revisited, because I think if we talk about the Liverpool game again, okay, the Chelsea-Liverpool game again, I think it would have been more entertaining. I'm not saying that Chelsea could have gone on to win the game, but I think we would have given Liverpool a really hard time if we would have gone with 11 men on the field in the second half. So these things also need to be taken into account while making such decisions. That incident, I am not really sure what to say about that.
Well, you know what? It's interesting as you say that, because we have Dominic in the chat. Like, Dominic is, of course, like, knowledgeable person about every club out there that there is. But I know he's a City fan after all. And I don't know what's Dominic's view. As in, if Dominic is still there in the chat, I would like him to comment on the Kyle Walker episode. Because for me, I understand if he had not given a penalty in the first place, and then probably looked at VAR, you would have stood by it. But actually overturning a red card and a penalty by just looking at that, I think they look at the slow motion, and the momentum is something that they don't really consider at that second. They totally forgot about it. But yes, having said that, I got a comment from Dominic. Obviously, rival fans would think it's a penalty. Why not say great defending? But Walker was lucky though. Big up to Dominic for that. At least he is admitting that he was lucky. Yes, like I said, it could have gone either way. But coming to decisions like David Moyes. I don't know, Dennis. David Moyes doing the David Moyes like as though he was playing a cup final and he got Mark Noble on as though he is that penalty specialist of the world, coming on. Declan Rice is a confident player right now. He was about to take their penalty. What is the need for him to get Mark Noble on, irrespective of whatever kind of record he has?
You know what? David Moyes is a moron. Let's just be honest. Let's just get it straight. Get that out of the way right away. Like you think about it. If I'm Mark Noble, I haven't kicked the ball. Also, I don't even think he's come onto the pitch for them at all this season. He has not kicked the ball for them.
Yeah.
And his first kick of the ball is supposed to be a penalty to save a point for them. Like, what are you thinking? Like, what is the mentality there? You know what I mean? And we just had another example of this a couple months ago in the Euros when Southgate brings on Sancho and Saka. Like
Rashford, Saka,
yeah, they haven't even touched the ball. They had to get into the flow of the game, get the adrenaline going. They put him in a pressure situation like that. You know what I mean? I'm granted, like Mark Noble, obviously a veteran, has done it, time and time again. But at the same time, it's just about getting the juices going, man. Like move, get him on the pitch if you're gonna think about that. And like, to be honest with you, your captain's on the pitch. He's taken penalties for you before. You know what I mean? What are we doing here? We're making a substitution to bring on I've never seen that in my life, by the way. I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen a situation where
it's a regular league game. It's not like it's a cup final, and irrespective of it,
it's not like you make the substitution for penalties. Like like if you're going into penalty kicks. Like I can understand that every now and then, but like this is just like a regular football game. At the end of the game, teams awarded a penalty, and you're subbing on ancient 30 whatever something never played all season to try and save a point for you at home. Come on, dude. Like you don't know how that just frustrated me. It just frustrated me because I really thought that they deserved a point, and they were robbed just from stupid decision making from their leader, their manager. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, but you know what? Some great points in chat. Again, chat, like we haven't been able to address every comment, but some great comments there. Definitely, Front 3 podcast says can't blame Noble. Imagine the pressure that he would have been under. Of course, like, and again, being a club captain, you wouldn't say no to that. Like, if we don't know what goes behind the scene, maybe he asked Moyes, maybe Moyes asked him. Whatever be it, he is not going to say no. Knowing Noble, even more so. Having said that, come on, like Zuma. I know ex-Chelsea player. I would call him a Chelsea great, not a legend, but definitely a Chelsea great. He's won league titles with us, but he actually was very lucky not to get the penalty. Ronaldo, that was a nail-on penalty. I think Zuma did not get the ball. I think it was obviously a couple of times. I know Dennis is saying 50-50, but no, for me it was a penalty. Let's be real, right? And then twice, yes, I agree with you totally. But I know people in the chat. What do you think? Like, the Zuma effort, was that a penalty or not? But I think at the end of the day, Man United got the result that they deserved in a way, because I think David De Gea has saved the penalty. As in, let's put it that way. And they are rivals after all. We would like to have respectable rivals, and we want to fight as well. We don't want to kind of flying high, from week 5 easily, right? But talking about another game, of course, we saw a comment, Arsenal, how can they be rivals? True that. But I think the talk of the town was Aaron Ramsdale. Shashwat, Aaron Ramsdale was criticized. I think Arsenal was criticized signing him, but he was probably the one to stand out in that game, right? I mean, Burnley, he made a crucial few saves, and of course, even that dodgy call by the ref once again. For me, this time it was right because Ramsdale got just a touch about. But Ramsdale, do you see him being a mainstay in that Arsenal team, or you see Leno coming back? Arteta,
No,
I think is not.
No, I think Ramsdale will be the mainstay because what we have seen of Leno, he is very poor when it comes out from playing out of the back, because Arteta likes that Pep that Pep philosophy of stringing up 2-3 passes together and then breaking the press and then taking the ball forward. So I think we could say that it's been a while that Arteta has not had his team per se, his full team, his full squad available at his disposal. But now we can see some players returning back. Thomas Partey is an absolute crucial player for Arsenal. I mean, if Thomas Partey is missing, they are very easy to break down. But when he's there, they are a complete different gravy. So coming back to Ramsdale question, I think he has been brought to give them that playing out from the back liberty, which you cannot do with Leno, which we saw against Brentford in some ways. That because of his misplaced passing, he invites pressure from the midfield if the opposition is pressing very high up the field. So Ramsdale will be the one to give a tough competition to Leno. I think Leno has not done that badly to be casted aside so soon, but I think Ramsdale is one for the future. And Arsenal are an interesting proposition. I think we can have a podcast separately for Arsenal because
Yeah, it
once
should.
we once we see all the players when they are available, I think then we will see how Arteta functions. But as of now, I'm not really convinced with this style of play because the manner in which they are losing those games, it is absolutely appalling. Okay, people, can. Uh, yes, I can see Arsenal look good as long as Shaq is suspended. Yes, you. Yes, you could say that. I mean, he has his problems with those red cards and committing those rash tackles. But we have to again, as we say for any player or any manager or any team, we have to give them a consistent run of 10, 15 games. Then we will decide. But who knows by the
Yeah,
end of
I would
10,
like to
15 games
define.
where they will be.
Exactly. And I would like to define again, when you're talking about rivals and Arsenal, it's not about table rivals. Here, Arsenal definitely the geographical rivals. That's all I can
But
say.
I feel really bad when Arsenal, I feel bad when I see any club in the state, right? Because we have, since I have grown up, Arsenal used to be that great superpower in football, and very good friends of mine are Arsenal fans. Some of them are really crazy about Arsenal, and they're my very good friends. So I don't like to see them sad because of football team. And I mean, people who don't follow football don't realize how much toll it takes on you mentally. Okay, matlab, when your
It's
when
on
your team
fire.
is when your team is not doing good, it really affects you inside. So I can see Arsenal fans going, they are very down at the moment. But I hope that Arsenal recovers and they are right back in the top four scrap. So let's hope that Arteta is the man to lead them. That's
Yeah,
all
as
I
in,
have to say
I
about
just
that.
want him to stay. Like almost every stream,
Uh,
I say that I want Arteta and Ole to stay as long as possible because I can't see them winning titles after titles. But you know what? I put the poll that I was talking about. So the poll is about who would actually challenge Chelsea till the very end, as in the most strongest team on paper till now. Interesting poll results. So I see over 30 of them voting, and I'm seeing Liverpool and Manchester City getting the highest number of votes, right? Again, Manchester United
Interesting.
not being there, that's actually pretty surprising to me if I'm really being honest. Because for me, yes, Liverpool look fantastic. Again, I think kudos to Salah and of course Mane. I think Mane has been criticized a lot, but he's actually, if I'm not wrong, he scored in 4 or 5 of the last 6 EPL games that he played in. So I don't think a record could be better than that for especially a winger come striker, right? So I know he's
You know
not
what's
probably at his very best. Yeah.
you know what's going to be interesting is come January because what are they going to do? Mane's gone, Salah's gone, Konate's gone. I'm forgetting something. Naby Keita's gone. That's 4 players that they're using. I don't see anything on the bench that's going to be able to replace those guys. So I'm not really too worried about them just because I think that they're going to. Maybe I don't know how many are like Senegal's actually a really good African team, so they'll probably go pretty deep with Mane. And obviously Mo Salah can do it on his own, so they'll probably go pretty deep in Afcon. Then also you look at I was just gonna say when you look at Man United, I mean they have the names all over the pitch, but do they have the team? Do they have the cohesion? Do they have the tactics? I mean, I don't believe it. I don't think that yeah, it's probably likely true. I don't believe that Man United can mount a title challenge for the entire year, given the level of the competition that they're going to be facing. It's not so much about like the players on the pitch; it's about the managers. Like you think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be able to match wits with Pep Guardiola, with obviously Thomas Tuchel, with Klopp. Like he's just not at that level. And I mean, we'll have to see. Oh, sorry, my Kanate is French. My bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
for now. So
yeah,
again, you know
no,
what? Interesting that I think Dominic also mentions about Man City. Again, I expected Man City to be there. To be honest, what I meant is definitely Man City, Chelsea, for sure have to be in talk, right? But I think Manchester United is something that I personally expected. But Liverpool have been great. Like talking about Konate. I think Konate did well in this game. I think it was his first Premier League game, so to speak. But uh, the other one, I think Shimikas was brought back, and he probably could have conceded a penalty. I mean, that's not being spoken about on air. You never know where the game would have gone, because I think Palace had a good first half again, but I think it was a trip to Benteke, but that would have probably changed the game or not. I don't know. But overall, I think Liverpool deserved it. As in right now, definitely we are on top. Liverpool, I think it's an identical record. So it'd be really interesting, what actually happens. But I don't know. Again, people in the chat, I would like to take a quick vote. In terms of other teams, I know Leicester hasn't had a great start. Spurs, we already, spoke about them enough. These are two teams that I personally, see that these two teams dropping out of the top six. So if there are two teams that, people in the chat think, which two teams would that be who would actually come into the top six in place of Leicester and Spurs? Rodgers doing Rodgers again for the third season succession. You may say it may not happen, but this time I don't think he'll even fight for it. Like I don't see Leicester kind of surviving that heyday that they had. But again, I might be wrong. But yes, a lot of chat around the other teams. I think, I don't want to talk too much about the other teams as well. So let's get to the next section, guys. Okay, so obviously we have a big game coming up 2 days from now, and that is the Carabao Cup, the League Cup, obviously the EFL Cup that we all call. For me, again, someone who's grown up during my teenage years, definitely seeing Jose Mourinho persist on winning that League Cup early so that we get that momentum going as a squad is something that works for me, and I would really hope that Chelsea actually go for it, and we have a big enough squad to do that, right? And that's something that I'm looking forward to. But interestingly, we are playing Villa again, whom we just played, I think, a week ago. So I'll just quickly share my screen and see what kind of tactic we use then. And then probably we can have a chat around it. Meanwhile, again, people in the chat, if you're liking it, let's smash the like as well as maybe share the stream so that we have more people joining in for this preview section. Let me quickly share this. Okay. So, Shashwat, I'll come to you. This is basically, obviously, we won 3-0. This was a lineup. Again, I know Kepa played the other day against Spurs. Mendy, I don't know how serious the injury is, but for the League Cup being a knockout, would you want to get Mendy back or Kepa if it goes to penalties? You stick with him.
No, I think Kepa should start this game because he needs that confidence. He needs those minutes. It might be interesting to see if Bettinelli gets a start because we got him as a third keeper. But I don't see that happening. I think Kepa should get some minutes under his belt. Then more interestingly, I think we need to protect some of the players who are, injury prone or at the wrong side of their 30s, like Thiago Silva. No need to start Thiago Silva in this game. No need to start N'Golo Conte in this game. And as you said that League Cup is important. See, I personally, it's my opinion. I don't know what all other fans think. I really don't care about League Cup that much, to be honest. I would rather win an FA Cup and the Champions League than rather focus on the League Cup. And I would rather win the Club World Cup than League Cup.
Because makes sense.
Exactly.
Makes sense. But more the merrier, right? More the merrier.
So because even if we lose this game, I don't think it would bother me personally so much. So I think we should give minutes to Saul. He had a horror of a first half against Villa. And see, again, coming to that point, when we were discussing about Mount, we have become, we as a football community have become so reactionary that if a player has a bad 30 minutes, 35 minutes, we are out for his head with an axe.
Yeah, that's not on.
Yes. That's not on. Yeah, you get my point, right? So we need to give Saul some confidence. We need Chilwell. We need to get Chilwell back because we know that in long run he will be the man. Because when it comes to defending, we know that Alonso has been exposed quite a few times. Chilwell will be our mainstay in the team. So we need to integrate him back into the team. Then we have some players like Loftus-Cheek and Barkley in the squad. So we need to give those players minutes. And Werner needs some confidence. So if he can get couple of goals, bang in 2 or 3 goals, then it will work
It's
wonders for his
interesting to say
confidence.
that. No, but
Mm,
sorry to cut you there, but I'll probably put this to Dennis, right? Because
mm,
as in probably we've spoken about Werner enough. But Dennis,
mm,
so Lukaku has, I think, previous to that Villa League game, Lukaku had already scored 5 goals against Villa in the last 6 Premier League games that he has in England, right? And he scored 2 more goals in that Villa game, like we all know. So, would you bench Lukaku and play Werner, or would you play both up front and probably utilize Loftus-Cheek, Barkley in more of a as in heavy midfield kind of scenario and play 3-5-2? What is your
Pro-
opinion?
protect
I,
Lukaku.
I,
Protect Lukaku.
I'm
Protect
with you on
Lukaku.
that. I'm of the opinion that if we lose Lukaku, we're in big trouble,
Mm,
and it
mm,
depends on how you value this competition. Like
mm,
for me, I was looking at it the same way. I was kind of looking at it like this is a competition for squad players, right? To give
mm,
them the opportunity to get some matches and find their game. There's no need if we lose this game. The people that lose out are the squad players that don't
mm,
get the opportunity to play very often. It's not going to be
mm,
that impactful for our season going forward, other than the fact that we don't get the opportunity to rotate our squad as much as we'd like to, just because people will be completely out of form. With that in mind, I would say, you know, I would go with Werner up top, and then probably play with two in behind him. Whether it be, I don't know, maybe Callum Hudson-Odoi might be able to get a look there at
Yeah,
one of the number 10 positions. One of the
Ziyech, of course,
forwards.
I'm assuming because Ziyech played in
Ziyech
the Villa
another
game.
one. Ziyech
mm,
another one that could probably get a redemption there. Like we have a lot of players, like Callum Hudson-Odoi. You mentioned Ruben Loftus-Cheek who could play there. I would play Kovacic just because he's been scintillating the last little while,
Yeah.
and we're probably going to need him on the weekend. Like, what would you rather? I'd rather see Lukaku miss this game and we lose, and then he bangs a brace against City on the
Come
weekend.
on.
That's just me though.
You
You
can't
know,
say we can't say we're going to lose, but yeah, I get your point
I'm
perfectly.
just
As
saying,
in,
if I had my choice, I'd take the 3 points and a Lukaku brace against City because I think that goes a
yeah,
lot further for our
of course.
season than winning the third round of the Carabao Cup, or
See, but
whatever it's called.
that's my point, right? As in, my point is like we have a lot of people. Again, Michael talks football, great channel. Again, he actually is asking for Bergstrom to start as goalkeeper. I know he has Finnish citizenship. I think that's the reason. Again, Michael is I think from Finland, but yeah, as in I don't see going to that level, but we certainly will play probably half the team who regularly plays, but maybe Loftus-Cheek, Saul, and Chilwell, who's not got recent minutes, will be seen, and
I
Kepa, of course,
mean,
Yeah,
West
you
Brom
can't
played
you
their
can't go
reserves.
too deep with that stuff, right?
West Brom played their reserves against Arsenal in the League Cup. So I mean, that's how they took that cup. So I don't think we should need to start our main players in this game.
And like
yeah,
keep in mind, like as much as like rotation, like I don't think we should. You got to be fair to the other guys on the squad as well, right? Like
yeah.
if there's an
Mm,
opportunity for them to play, you got to play them. So for Kepa, like I would never. I didn't even know Bergstrom. I didn't. I don't follow the youth that way, obviously. But Bergstrom over Kepa or even Bettinelli, like no
No,
chance.
no, he
You
is
have to be fair
definitely,
to
as
the
in
guys that are on the squad.
definitely one for the future. But Bergstrom is someone that I think, if I'm not wrong, he was named in the Champions League squad also a couple of times. So
mm,
that's something that, as in we need to keep an eye on. But again, nobody wants to lose. But when it comes to League Cup, you will lose. As in, let's be real. Like we have the squad to beat Villa. Again, talking about Villa, they played with two strikers up front in that game, which did not work for them. I know Mings will not do a Mings again. He doesn't do it so regularly, but I can see, Bertrand Traore starting this game, and he's someone who always looks forward
Leon
to,
Bailey.
games. Yeah, and Bailey is actually, I think he got a pull towards the end of the game, so I
Oh,
don't see
good.
him
I mean,
starting.
not good
Uh,
on Jamaican, but not good that he's hurt, but like good that we don't have to see
yeah, he
him
was he was
because
fantastic. He was
he was
fantastic, definitely.
he looked
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think again, because it's a League Cup game, I don't see them experimenting much as well. But they have a good squad. I think Buendia is someone who's not played much recently because of obviously the
Yeah.
quarantine thing which happened, the fiasco, and he's someone who can directly replace a Bailey, like Traore. So they have a lot of players. Watkins hasn't played a lot of minutes. Ings again, someone who scores goals for fun. So it'll be an interesting game. I can see a high-scoring game. So let's get to predictions. What do you see, Shashwat? Come on, let's go for a win. I would not want you to predict loss, but yeah.
I never predict a Chelsea loss, even when we finished 10th that season. Whenever anyone asks me, I always go for a draw or a win. I never say Chelsea will lose in a prediction. So I think it will be a hard-fought 1-0 victory. And I would love to see Trevor Chalobah get some minutes in this game because I've been really impressed by him.
Oh, Chalobah is nailed on. He's nailed on to play. I think
he should, because I think Rudiger needs a rest, right? He's been playing literally every minute of every competition there is. So
I'm wondering if we might see Christensen play on the left
side.
Yeah, because like Tuchel's been talking about him being able to play on all three positions in his last few press conferences. So I'm wondering.
We could see Reece James also deployed as a right centre back, and we could see Hudson Odoi as a wing back.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, you never know Tuchel. Right? He's the kind of guy that like we're seeing Malang Sarr here. You see, I don't know.
I'm not confident, especially in a cup game. Like, you don't put him directly in a cup game because I know that he deserves some minutes as well. But Saul at least had a brief about what it takes in English football, so he'll be ready for it mentally. I don't know about Malang Sarr. Like, for me,
I'm saying this: if you play him, you bring him on as a sub after the game's secured or whatever. But you don't start him when you have guys that could use the minutes and are in better positions to affect the game. I don't know anything about Malang Sarr. All I know is that he wasn't even supposed to be in the squad and just got a squad number like last week or whatever because he couldn't go out on loan. Nobody wanted to touch those 120,000, euros or pounds in that he's getting paid, to sit on the bench. But anyhow, like I don't like making predictions, to be honest with you. I just like watching the game.
I know that.
In the interest of being in the stream right now, I'm going to say 2-0 Chelsea, Werner, and Ziyech.
Fair enough. And that's a great call. Again, like I know Dominic and others have kind of, also predicted the closer scoreline possibly, or the whatever really we feel, right? I really feel, Dominic and everyone in the chat, for me, Chelsea, the squad that we have, we should win this game. Like, again, we should versus what will happen, there's a difference. But I definitely see, us, getting over the line. We saw in the Villa game, if we really want to turn it, we can do that. Same thing happened against Spurs. It's in the mind. And Tuchel, I think that halftime talk, whatever he said to the players, I'm sure like in a cup game, he won a cup for us recently. So hopefully he'll have some kind of talk. Of course, it's just a League Cup, but I'm sure there'll be some talk around it. But as I see Stu joining as well, when will ManUtd realize they will remain aimless with Maguire and Shaw? Both are overweight, always exposed when not lying deep. This isn't the 90s when Pallister and Bruce, while fat, won titles. Wow, that's some comment.
You know what? I kind of agree with that. Not so much with the Maguire and like Shaw, but they don't have a lot of athletes on the pitch. Like when you look at like how England's being played right now, they don't really have the guys that can just bomb up and down the pitch and like play really quickly and whatnot. They have a really, bulky, turgid-looking, slow team, and that's the other reason why I'm not really sure. Maybe when the matches slow down a bit in like January, they might come good again. But like they're gonna have some. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo's Ronaldo, right? But he's not gonna win you every game. You know what I mean? You have to get it from somewhere else.
Exactly.
I just don't know where it's coming from. Like the energy in the midfield, like McTominay, Fred, Pogba playing on the left wing. Like, I don't know, guys, honestly. And I have a lot of friends that are United fans, and I'm just like, I want to see a competitive league this year. I want to see teams that are traditionally supposed to be up there, like really challenging and make it a real, top four race and whatnot. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I look at United and I see a lot of names on the pitch, and I don't see a system of play, and I don't see like how, when teams get after them, how they're going to be able to like really, contest it. This is my honest opinion. I'm not trying. This is no banter.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, I kind of get that because of the fact, like, even the games that we've seen, right? Say Liverpool, has been one of the teams which has gone for it. Even Spurs, for that matter, in this game we saw they just went for it from
Yeah.
minute one. But Man United, wait and wait and wait, and then they get that penalty save and they, celebrate it as though it's a championship win already. So
Mhm.
for me, there is something missing in terms of, but yes, I get the fact that they are kind of building that. Whether Ole will be able to sustain that is a different thing altogether, right? That's a big
They're just lucky
question.
Antonio didn't play on the weekend, man. If Antonio was fit or wasn't suspended,
Yeah,
that's a completely different scoreline. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I just don't think that they have a lot of good personnel there. I just don't see where it's all coming together for them. That's my opinion.
absolutely. Like I think again, like I think Chelsea have 10 different scorers. I think we are among the highest
Yep.
in terms of different scorers. Villa, talk about Villa that we are playing in 2 days' time in League Cup. Like they have a lot of scorers as well. Like I think Matty Cash, was it? Like wow, what a goal that was. Like
Yeah.
so that is something that probably I don't see in United. I also don't see in Liverpool. They over rely on the front men, and like you said, like people alluded to in chat as well, like because the African Cup of Nations is there, Liverpool probably may miss out there. Man United because of the midfield and Ole, but again, that's a whole different discussion. But as we say that, we have Mikhail joining as well, and Van de Beek. I don't know. Van de Beek is probably going elsewhere. I have no idea where it's going to end up. I think Ndombele, Van de Beek, these are people which they're just leftovers in the clubs that they are in. I really don't know what's going to happen to them. As in better luck to them. That's all I can say. But yes, we've been discussing over an hour. Lots to talk about still, but I think I can go on forever. But my guests probably have to go, and a lot of people in the chat. Thanks again for joining. Again, a lot of folks in the chat, as well as of course the panel, they have channels on their own. So please, take a look firstly at the description below. Smash that like, press that bell notification icon, because as we are seeing a lot of people coming on the streams, and we are having healthy discussion, which I always love, and I'm hoping the panel here also loved it. So firstly, Baba, over to you. Thanks a lot for coming, and anything that you would like to share finally, and plug in yourself as well.
I mean, it was an absolute honor and a pleasure to interact with you guys, and really nice meeting Dennis. I loved his energy.
No, that's not my name. That's not my name. You forgot my name already.
Thiago Silva. I
Thank
apologize.
you.
I loved meeting
That
Thiago
reminds
Silva.
me. But that reminds me, come on. So, people in the chat have to rate Dennis's singing. As in, I'm really bad at it, but I think, oh, Thiago Silva, come on, we can do it one last time for sure.
Okay, here we go. Oh, Thiago
Thiago
Silva.
Silva. Oh,
Oh,
Thiago.
Thiago Silva. Oh, Thiago Silva. Come on, we're
Awesome,
10.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. Yes, again, Baba, thanks. But yes, anything that you are probably doing different in a channel that you can share, and maybe we could probably take a view. I know that you do a lot of series as well. So something that you can probably share as well about it.
Cool.
Yeah, just a couple of things that I cover FPL. I talk about FPL every week on my channel just before the deadline. So if you were there in the FPL game, and if you want any tips, we try our best to bring out the options and what all differentials there are available in the market. So I hope that it helps you out. And we also discuss tops and flops of the week gone by every week. So I will be doing that tomorrow on my channel, and we will also be covering the big game against Man City. So all these things, and also the amazing work that Ankit you are doing on your channel has been absolutely really fantastic. It's good to see that Chelsea fans, and I will be definitely following Thiago Silva from now on. I will be keeping an eye on his channel too. I think he will be also having some great stuff, and I always love
Yes.
interacting with fellow Chelsea fans, no matter in the corner of the world they are. So thank you so much for having me.
No, my pleasure totally. And yes, over to Thiago Silva. Dennis, please feel free to plug in your channel, and any final thoughts, please share.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Ankit, for having me. And Drogbaba, you don't know. That name is classic. Just classic.
Thank you.
Like, you can't beat it. And like, it's definitely a pleasure conversing with you and sharing ideas with you. You're a knowledgeable guy, and you've proven that on this stream for me. That's for sure. And yeah, I'd love to, have you guest on some other channels, maybe one of mine at some point. We can have some discussions in the future.
Definitely.
Yeah, what I like to do on my channel is basically just focus on the tactics that are associated with matches. I don't really get into the politics that seem to be surrounding the club daily. Like, should this guy be playing? Should this guy be sold? I don't deal with anything like that. It's strictly the tactics that we see on the pitch and whether or not it's been to our advantage or to our disadvantage. But yeah, it's been fun as always. I don't really post that much. I'm kind of more once a week because I have a kid, and yeah, once you have a kid, everything changes and it's all about him. So I try to do like once a week, and then I guest on a bunch of different shows as well. I'm actually going to be. I don't know when it's coming out, but I've done one recording for actually Chelsea Perspective, where he does a player profile, and I actually did a player profile for Christensen, which was an interesting one. So look out for that. Look out for his channel as well.
Definitely.
But yeah, his channel is solid. Also, Blue Clouds TV, another solid channel.
Yeah, a lot of them. Blue Clouds TV, Dominic Rich, of course. Chelsea Perspective, Michael Talks Football, and a lot of people. We are trying to build a community here.
Exactly.
Of course, I saw a lot of other channels also. I know it's late in the time zone that I'm in, so maybe I don't know if they're still in the chat, but great having them, and of course, great having you guys. And I think it's probably time. We will come back, of course, with the preview for the ManCity game. So stay tuned for that. There will be a big preview, expected, and I'm hoping Drog Baba as well as Dennis Thiago Silva, Couch Critic, come back to the channel, and we'll have, obviously, I think one trivia show is due with Baba, and maybe Baba will challenge, Couch Critic. That's something that I'm looking for. Who Am I series, probably next international break. So, stay tuned for that, guys. Until then, have a safe one and take care. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Up the Chelsea.